Coco Gauff charmed by her parents Corey and Candy's cute date night as they enjoy Broadway's show at Kravis Center. The spotlight usually followed Coco Gauff on center court under Grand Slam pressure or at press conferences where her grace defied her age. But tonight, in the warm glow of the Kravis Center in West Palm Beach, the spotlight shifted. It wasn't on Coco, the tennis phenom, but on two people who had quietly stood behind her meteoric rise: Corey and Candy Gauff, her parents. Coco, fresh off a whirlwind press tour after her latest title run, had returned to Florida for a brief, much-needed break. She wasn't planning to do much, just a few days of family, food, and Florida sunshine. But on this particular Friday night, her parents had other plans. "We're going out," her mom, Candy, had said, a twinkle in her eyes as she passed by Coco in the kitchen. Coco raised an eyebrow. "Out? Like dinner?" Out, her dad, Corey, echoed, adjusting his collar in the hallway mirror. "We got tickets to a show." Coco grinned. "A date night? That's actually really cute." Candy laughed. Even parents deserve a little Broadway magic now and then. She didn't ask where they were going, not right away. But when her dad dropped the words Kravis Center and musical revival, Coco's curiosity piqued. She'd grown up attending shows there with her school, back before tennis had become her full-time world. Seeing her parents all dressed up, her mom in a soft blue dress and heels, her dad in a blazer she hadn't seen in years, made her pause. "You guys look elegant," Coco said, smiling. "Like you're about to dance on stage yourselves." Corey grinned. "Only if the music hits right." She watched them go, a bubble of affection rising in her chest. Her parents, always steady, always present, were rarely the ones in the frame. For years, they'd given everything to her dream: long flights, late nights, the pressure of guiding a prodigy. And yet here they were, carving out a night just for themselves. Coco, used to being the center of attention, suddenly felt like an audience member, watching love and partnership take a graceful bow. Later that evening, curiosity tugged again. After dinner with her brothers and a lazy hour scrolling through tennis highlights on social media, she picked up her phone and opened Instagram. She tapped through stories until she found one tagged at the Kravis Center. A friend of a friend had posted a quick pan across the lobby. Gold light shimmering on polished floors, people an elegant evening were milling about. And there they were, her parents, standing in front of a large poster for the show. Corey had one arm around Candy, who leaned in slightly, both laughing at something out of frame. The image was grainy, but the feeling was clear. Coco grinned. She took a screenshot, sent it to the family group chat, and wrote, "Y'all are too cute. Broadway stars in the making? Woman dancing medium dark skin tone, man dancing medium skin tone sparkles." Seconds later, 3 dots appeared. Her dad, always quick on the phone. "Corey, don't be jealous. We're scouting the scene for your post-retirement career." Candy, musical theater might be your second act, but only if you can hit the high notes, grinning face with smiling eyes. Coco laughed aloud. The banter was easy, warm. She felt grateful, not for the titles or the trophies, but for this, the love that hadn't wavered through the hardest parts of fame. Back at the Kravis Center, inside the velvet-lined theater, Corey and Candy found their seats just as the lights dimmed. The overture began, lush strings and brass, the kind of music that lifted your chest without asking. As the curtain rose, Corey leaned toward his wife. "This reminds me of when we used to sneak out for jazz nights in Atlanta," he whispered. Candy smiled. "Except back then, we were broke and sitting in the back row." He chuckled. "And now we're just slightly less broke, but in row 6. They held hands as the first number started, a revival of Once on This Island, the story of love, sacrifice, and resilience set in the Caribbean. The music pulsed with joy and sorrow, the performers pouring soul into every lyric. It was the kind of show that stayed with you long after the curtain fell. Halfway through the second act, during a haunting solo, Candy glanced at Corey and saw a tear just barely forming in his eye. "You okay?" she whispered. He nodded, brushing it away. "Yeah, just makes you think about all we've been through, what we've built." Candy squeezed his hand. They didn't talk much during the ride home. The show had cast a spell, the kind that didn't need breaking. When they walked through the door, Coco was curled up on the couch, hoodie pulled over her head, watching some sitcom on mute. "Have fun?" she asked, feigning casualness. Her mom kicked off her heels. It was magical. Her dad flopped onto the armchair. Broadway talent everywhere, but none as dramatic as your forehand down the line. "Stop," Coco groaned, laughing. "Let me live. You should come with us next time," her mom said, rubbing her shoulder. "Maybe when the season's over." "I'd like that," Coco said softly. And she meant it. The next morning, Coco woke to find a playbill on the kitchen counter with a handwritten note. "Thanks for cheering from the sidelines for once. 2 hearts love, Mom and Dad." She flipped open the playbill, looking at the smiling faces of the cast, the story summary, the musical numbers. And something about it struck her. Here was an entire world built on timing, trust, harmony. Not unlike tennis. Every character had their moment. Every note mattered. For once, her parents had taken center stage. Not as coaches, managers, or mentors, but simply as Corey and Candy, the couple who had built a life from love and faith, who had raised a champion without losing themselves. That morning, as she laced up her sneakers for a light run, Coco felt something shift. Not her goals or her drive, but her awareness that the real victory wasn't just in the wins, but in the quiet joy of date nights, musicals, and being reminded that no matter how high you fly, your roots matter most. Epilogue a year later. Backstage at the Kravis Center, Coco adjusted her mic pack and peeked out from behind the curtain. The stage manager gave her the thumbs up. It wasn't a tennis match tonight. It was a charity event she'd helped organize. One night only, a benefit performance featuring athletes, artists, and local students raising funds for arts education. Coco had agreed to host. Maybe sing a little. Maybe dance, if her ankles felt up to it. Her parents were front row, of course. Candy already holding a tissue. Corey with that same blazer from last year. As the spotlight hit, Coco stepped out, smiled, and began. "Good evening, everyone. Tonight, I'm not here as a tennis player. I'm here as a daughter, a dreamer, and a lover of the stage. And it all started with one cute date night." The audience laughed, and the show went on.